Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is a paid request for Elijah. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. And for those interested in requesting any type of videos, PayPal is usually the best bet. I do have a Cash App. Links are down below in the info box if you wish to, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. But yeah, this is for it to be any type of video, review, re-review, topic, reaction, commentary, video game playthrough, whatever the case. I'll get to it as soon as I can. But this is for Flash Gordon from 1980, which it's a lot of fun to watch, I gotta admit. Flash Gordon from 1980 is fun to watch. I didn't do this on purpose, but a Shirley Temple 7-Up. That kind of fits with this kind of movie to be drinking this. Because, obviously, for the longest time, they tried to make a Flash Gordon film. George Lucas at one point wanted to do that, but he wasn't allowed. So then he did his own, called Star Wars. Now, because of the success of Star Wars, a lot more sci-fi was made. Some more horror like Alien. Some based on TV shows like Star Trek the Motion Picture. And some much more campy like this. Which I believe is the producer Dino De Laurentiis, his idea to make it a bit more comedic. Now, this is one of those films that I did watch quite a few times when I was a kid. Now, granted, there are other films I do like more in terms of sci-fi. Whether it be Steve from New York, or whether it be the Star Trek films, or etc. But because like the camp factor, even as a kid, I'm like, okay, it's kind of fun, but maybe it's a bit too much. But I was liking it, especially for the soundtrack. But you watch it nowadays, it is appreciative, sort of how gonzo it gets with that movie, and how it did try to do quite a few things in terms of the visual style, in terms of the color scheme, and especially the choice of having Queen do the soundtrack, and such a kick-ass soundtrack. I do remember as a kid, this is embarrassing but I'll admit it, I would hear the Flash theme. As a little kid, I would like dance to the Flash theme. Flash, ah! I would do like this as a little kid. Ah! King of the Impossible. This is a badass theme, I gotta admit. I just wish that when they released the soundtrack, it didn't have all the damn dialogue from the movie in it. Now, if you look enough, you can find a cleaned up version that doesn't have all that dialogue in it. It has just the music, but it takes a little bit of looking, but you can find it. I think it's still may be on YouTube, but a lot of times you find it's got dialogue from the movie. It's like, no, I don't want that. I just want to hear the song. But Queen, such a badass soundtrack. I mean, great theme. Ah, King of the Impossible. Damn it. Even the other pieces, whether the themes of the Hawkmen or during the football scene, the so the soundtrack excellent on all parts, man. It definitely helps the film, helps the energy of the film, the tone of the film. I think that was the other thing. Like as you watch, is like, for me, is like I get used to the campy tone again. But Max von Sydow, may he rest in peace, as Emperor Ming. He is really good in the role. He has a commanding presence, but a little bit of twinkle in his eye. Right, I didn't find him intimidating like Darth Vader from Star Wars, but he still, I thought, worked well for what he needed to do. Very well. He had just a great voice, commanding voice. I want to play. Before he wants to destroy the Earth. Which is like some beam that create earthquakes and all sorts of stuff. And sometimes I was a bit confused as to what all he could do. Sorry, because there's a part where early on where you have Sam Jones as Flash Gordon, you have, was it Melody Anderson as Dale? Which I remember her more so from Firewalker, the Chuck Norris film, which I'm a big fan of. Sam Jones, I've seen him in other stuff. I never thought he was that great. Damn, sorry about that. The clear of the throat. No, that's annoying. But Sam Jones, I would say he does fine here, but honestly, I know he was dubbed. Now, the way he puts it is that his people representing him, oh, you're not getting paid enough, so hold out for more money, or you should not come to work again. This is like after he got most of his stuff done, but then like that caused friction between him and the producer Dino De Laurentiis, so it led to him having all his dialogue dubbed, and then the director said, oh, it was only 10 minutes dubbed. No, it sounds like the whole damn movie he was dubbed. Now, if that's the case, then I probably actually don't mind his dubbing and liked it better than his actual voice, because I've heard his actual voice in other movies and interviews, and I'm like, I kind of like your dub voice better. I hate to say it. And I don't mind Sam Jones in it. Now, apparently one of the people they wanted at first was Kurt Russell, but apparently Dino De Laurentiis thought Kurt Russell was bland, too bland, which is funny because a year later he had Escape from New York, Snake Plissken. I'm like, Dino, is that fucking bland? Like I say, Escape from New York I like more than this, and it's Snake Plissken, so maybe it worked out the better for Kurt. That's funny, like, Kurt Russell tried out for Han Solo in Star Wars, he didn't get it. He tried out for this and didn't get it. Maybe that's just how it was supposed to be. You just Snake Plissken, and then you do Escape from New York, and The Thing, and Big Trouble in China, and maybe if he had done those movies, he never would have met John Carpenter and given us all-time classes like that. So sometimes that's just how it works. You know, serendipitous. But I was talking about how what the Matt von Sydow's character, there's a bit where our two mains are in a plane, and I just mean like his ghost or astral projection just went forward and took these fucking pilots out. Bye, Felicia. Just went by. It's like, is he just going along, just randomly being a prick to people? Like, I'm gonna hit that guy in the face, and I'm gonna punch this guy in the face. I'm gonna take these two suckers out of the plane. Is he just going around being a dick to random people? That's what's happening? Is that why we saw him go towards the camera? So I promise I was a bit confused with that, but I have to say, some way it looks like, I know the effects look cheap, but there's a charm to it. Like when you get to, they crash, they meet this scientist, Dr. Zarkov, played by Topol, who I remember from the James Bond film For Your Eyes Only, which I think that's a really good Roger Moore James Bond movie. Apparently, it was going to be either him or Warren Oates, but it was up to like a coin toss. So it could have been Sergeant Hulka from Stripes, or it could have been Topol, and it was Topol. And he definitely brings some energy to his role, and he like made this spaceship, and as I watch it, there's always like weird things that I would kind of question. I didn't like when Ming takes the two pilots. I did. Is he just doing this to random places around the world, or Topol has his assistant, and the plane crashes? Did the assistant get run over and die? Because Zarkov didn't really react to that. I think he says a line about him, but I'm like, the guy just got run over or turned to paste. Like, well, shouldn't you feel he's a little bit more sorry for him? Because if he didn't die, we never saw him again, so I thought, damn, like, I don't know if that character deserved to die. Shit. But I was talking about the way it looks, like when they go through the rocket ship, and then they go to wherever Ming and them are at. You see a lot of the skyline is this very weird, trippy skyline. Like when the Hawkmen come in the finale, you see how trippy the skyline is. Now, when you look at the effects, it's definitely not Star Wars type of effects or Empire Strikes Back. Like you compare Empire Strikes Back to this, it's like night and day with the effects. But with this campy tone, it kind of does fit with the silliness of it all. I wonder how hardcore Flash Gordon fans felt about this. I would think they would have been pissed. Because maybe they like Flash Gordon, we're taking this serial seriously, and then it becomes this kind of live action cartoon. And it's like, what the hell? It's like, but as a guy that didn't watch the old Flash Gordon, I knew of them. I seen clips of them, but I never watched them. I don't have that mindset. But it's one of those things where I kind of appreciate watching now just how colorful it is, the costumes. It does feel like a different world. I mean, those lizard people that one kind of jumps out and Ming's like, stop, and then zaps it. And then you see some of them later in this cage with Sam Jones nearby. And I guess because I watched the version in HD, just how creepy they look up close, like these eyes and like I don't even know, not even a face, but just I don't know how the hell you can put it. Just looks so fucking weird watching it in HD, like those lizard things or what the hell you want to call them, and especially the eyes, and just how the costumes are very garish. There's like costumes where people are all in gold, and even I always forget his name, the guy who works under Ming, that looks like if Skeletor was made of gold. Skeletor from He-Man, but he was made of gold. I always forget his damn name. I have to look it up, but I like it's interesting design for a lot of this stuff. It really is. And looks really neat. Looks really cool. I'm so bad with names. Clytus. General Clytus. And I should mention it's directed by Mike Hodges, who passed away in 2022. He did Damien Omen 2. Then after this, he did A Prayer for the Dying with Bob Hoskins and Mickey Rourke. He did a film called Black Rainbow with Rosanna Arquette. He did Morons from Outer Space. He did a film with... Oh, is that... yeah, Clive Owen. Called I'll Sleep When I'm Dead. He's probably most famous for directing the original Get Carter with Michael Caine from the 70s. Well, that and this. But, yeah, this... It's one of those movies where when the... If you're looking for more, like, serious fare, this ain't it. But I guess nowadays, like, people know what kind of movie it is, and either you're having fun with it, or you're annoyed by it. I was having fun with it. I know I got a bit of resurgence because Ted, the Seth MacFarlane films, they referenced it. They referenced the music. Sam Jones is in the film. The characters are big fans of Flash Gordon. So that definitely got a bit of resurgence. And then there was a documentary made, Life After Flash, that centers on Sam Jones, which I haven't seen in a while. I remember it being kind of interesting doc, but it's been a while since I've seen it. But it was cool. even as a kid going, okay, I know certain scenes that are pretty peculiar, but at least they're memorable. For example, the football scene. Because Flash Gordon is a quarterback for the New York Jets. Probably the most prominent New York Jets have ever fucking been. Well, that and Joe Namath. But when was the last time Joe Namath was with the Jets? Sorry to people who are fans of New York Jets, but like I said, probably the only time people know the New York Jets are either Joe Namath or Flash Gordon. Now, the thing with it is, I vaguely remembered the Flash Gordon of old being like, you know, a swashbuckler with swords and stuff. You don't really get that with this Flash Gordon, doesn't? Because he's a quarterback. So I wonder how people felt about that who are big. Yeah, I'm doing this in the daytime, and this, you see the fucking light right there. Like, of course, the right moment right there at the right time of day. Knocked it off. There we go. Put a damn pillow right there, some bitch. Maybe it's Ming. Ming's coming to get me. He's gonna pull me out of this fucking chair. Man, that's what's gonna happen. Fuck you, Ming. Suck on these. But as I was saying, listen, you don't really have a lot of the swashbuckling type of aspect, at least to the lead character. So I wonder how people felt about that. But at the same time, the football stuff, especially because of the music, was pretty memorable. I like how Melody's character really does become like a cheerleader for Flash. It's like, go Flash, go! Go Flash, go! Even at the end of the film, where he crashes the ship, as she's running, she totally goes, go Flash! He keeps running. Like, that stuff's pretty funny. And yeah, some of the dialogue, like, it's like, okay, were they done to be funny on purpose? But part of me thinks maybe, like, it's meant to be comedic, but I don't know if, like, that and that part are meant to be comedic, which makes it even more funny. Like, Flash, I love you, but we only have this many hours to save the Earth. And also, like, you have this countdown. How does this countdown to Earth work? Where in 5 hours Earth is doomed? Is it like the tectonic plates are going to collapse, or there's a time bomb that the whole Earth's going to explode, or there's a ray that's going to completely blow up the Earth like Krypton, or well, by this time, all the earthquakes will have destroyed all of civilization. Because, like, we never go back to Earth. We never see what's happening on Earth. In fact, I mean, we still don't. Flash just takes the word of this drone, which, although that is one of my favorite parts. You've saved your planet. Have a nice day. It's the have a nice day that gets me, and then Flash going, yeah! Which I don't blame him. I'd do the whole thing. I would do that too. Yeah! But I think that's what makes it memorable. That's what makes it a movie that stood a cult status test of time. Is because of that nature that just makes it fun. It makes it a fun movie. And all the weird, like, quirky stuff that they added in. That, I mean, it doesn't look, I mean, I think they had a decent budget, but it sometimes didn't look like it. But at the same time, it feels still a bit ambitious with the stuff they added in, and there's certain people that they meet. There's the Timothy Dalton's people. Timothy Dalton, of course, would be in James Bond, The Living Daylights, and License to Kill. Both very solid James Bond films. And I like Timothy Dalton. I don't know if Timothy Dalton has ever talked about this film. Maybe he's too ashamed of it, but you would think by this point, like, give it a break, dude. Like, just talk about the film. I don't know. I said, I don't know if Timothy Dalton has ever talked about this movie. I don't know. But I liked him in it. Prince of the, was it the Tree People? I forget the name of his tribe. But like they have this thing for outsiders that you gotta put your hand in. And it's kind of like a show of guts and courage. You put your hand in these different parts, and if something stings you, you'll be in such incredible pain, and it won't stop, and you'll have to beg to die. It just is to show your courage. I mean, the courage alone is putting your hand in the first place. Like, do that one time. I mean, I don't know what, how many times you have to put it in. Don't put that out of context, but just. But again, that's something that's interesting. I haven't really seen done a whole lot before. Or when the Hawkman has captured them, and there's a bit of a fight where it's Flash versus Timothy Dalton, and they're on this saucer that keeps teeter-tottering, and once in a while spikes come up and down again. They're having this kind of whip fight. I thought that looked pretty neat and kind of worked in a serial fashion, like those old serials from back in the day. But yeah, Timothy Dalton was cool. He got to tip some. It felt like he tipped more ass than Flash Gordon in the third act, to be honest, because he's shooting people, and he gets that little like machine gun type of thing, like on the tripod, and he picks it up, and he's got this big gun. I will say that's kind of the little detriment is while I don't mind Sam Jones, I think some of the supporting actors did better than him in terms of being more memorable. Like Brian Blessed as the lead Hawkman. He's a lot of fun. He's very enjoyable. Oh well. Who wants to live forever? Dive! Like, he's always just so jovial and fun. And I have seen him in interviews where he's still that. Because he's doing an interview where he's talking about how the director groaned when Dino De Laurentiis was on set because people were so afraid of Dino because he was the money man. He was the head chief guy. And Brian Bless is telling the story, and then he stops and goes, "Can I use the F word?" "Okay, well, the director tells Dino, just get the fuck off the set because you make everyone nervous here. You just fuck off." And then Dino, and he's like laughing. He's like, Dino's like saying, "No one has told me just to fuck off." Like Brian Blessed seems like he was just playing himself in a good way. And you tell like in interviews he really was hyped to it. He was really excited for the role, and he brought that to the proceedings, and he's a lot of fun. That's the thing, that like him and Timothy Dalton are more interesting than Flash Gordon. Part of me wishes the whole movie was about those two working together against Emperor Ming. I know that's mean to say, but it's like Timothy Dalton and Brian Blessed were more interesting than Flash Gordon, so I want to see their story, and they have to deal with Emperor Ming, but you team up, and their tribes have to team up. But I mean, again, Sam Jones, I know a lot of people knock him, maybe because of the dubbing and stuff. I can't understand it. I can. He didn't bother me. I thought he had a good look for the character. I thought the guy who dubbed him did as well as he could, because that's a tough job to do. And I said, I think his voice sounded better than what I've heard Sam Jones in interviews and stuff. I didn't mind the lady who played the... Oh, what was her name? I always forget her damn name. Princess Aura. Very beautiful Italian lady, I'll say that. Beautiful. Ornella Muti. Just hot as shit. I knew I recognized the William Hootian was Dr. Zarkov's assistant at the beginning. I knew I recognized him. He was one of the X-Wing guys at the end of the first Star Wars, Porkins, who got shot down. He was also in this film I like called Death Machine that came out in the 90s, which I got the Blu-ray there from Tino Lorber. So, yeah, I guess his character died in the movie. But yeah, the Princess Aura, who tries to seduce Flash Gordon, but ultimately you realize she's in love with Timothy Dalton's character. Beautiful lady. Like I said, I liked a lot of the designs. You know, those weird guys with the goggles, and you pull them off, and it wipes out everybody in that whole category who are like controlling the computers and stuff. Sometimes, like Dr. Zarkov, it felt like sometimes they didn't know what to do with the character. Where, okay, we're going to do this whole thing with mind control, and then you realize it didn't work because nothing can stop the human spirit. I'm like, okay. And then, like, once in a while, he would do something here and there, but it just felt like he didn't have a whole lot to do. Like, he was the guy to get them up into space. But once they got him into space, it just felt like they didn't really have a whole lot for him to do. I guess he got Dale out of Ming's palace, which ultimately get to Flash. So he was like a means to an end, but again, sometimes with him it's like, well, shit, what are we going to do with this character now? So he definitely brought energy to it. I appreciate what Topol did. It's just, yeah, sometimes it felt like the script's like, what do we do with him now? I guess he could do this, but that's just how I felt. I just felt he could have been utilized a bit better, a bit stronger into the story. But yeah, there's a lot of, entertaining like moments of camp. Even when like he's in the pit and this weird creature's trying to swallow Flash. Or any scene with Brian Blessed in it. Like even during the football scene where Flash is taking all the guards. There's one that comes by and Brian Blessed just knocks him out and, oh, I didn't do anything. And it's just very colorful. I just see like Alex Ross, who's the very famous artist. He's done beautiful artwork for comic books and stuff. I know he's a big fan of this movie. And I can see why, with the way it looks, and it definitely tried to make it look unique and stylish for its time, at least. So, it didn't look bland. It didn't look forgettable. I'll say that. And there's some shots, like, even though they're model work, like, there's a bit where in the third act, before the Hawkmen attack this big spaceship that they have to take over, you see the ship, like, come out of the clouds. That kind of looks cool. I mean, it's a model, but it kind of looked cool with the way it's coming out of the smoke and stuff. And it's like the background, I forget how they did it, but like sometimes the background looked like a lava lamp type of thing, which at least makes it a bit more unique. And yeah, again, the effects maybe don't hold up the best, like with all the Hawkmen in the sky. Doesn't look, 100%, photorealistic, but it's 1980. I can give that a bit of a pass. I mean, it's not Empire Strikes Back in those eras, but I'd give it a bit of a pass, And again, maybe it just adds a bit to the charm of things. The part where Flash he dies, and then he's brought back from the princess Aura, and then she tries to seduce him. I will say that's when things kind of slowed down a bit for me each time I watched it. And I will admit, when it gets like after the football scene and up until they meet up with Timothy Dalton, that stuff is kind of slow. And I know at times when I rewatch this, I kind of fast forward that stuff. And like I said with Dr. Zarkov, I kind of, they didn't think like they knew what to do with him, and And in Flash, I kind of wish he kicked a bit more ass in the third act. Like, you have him on that little rocket, which I find funny watch it again. Because I don't know why I never noticed this. He's on the rocket cycle, right? And, it's a sci-fi. It's very, up-to-date, futuristic. He calls Brian Blessed's Hawkman character with a fucking CB radio. So, like, this very high-tech stuff, but it's a CB radio. Call Smokey the Bandit while you're at it. So I thought, I didn't realize that. I didn't really put two together. Like, is that a fucking CB radio he has? It is. It's like, candy cane. So, but that's part of the fun of it. But yeah, he has that rocket cycle, but he doesn't really do a whole lot with it. Like, he's flying around, but if he's like shooting up parts of the ship and hitting a couple bad guys there, he doesn't really do a whole lot. That even when he gets on, it's the Hawkman doing all the work. It's just like he gets to the one guy, he presses the button, blows it up, and they get through, and he shoots like one guy. But there are times I kind of wish like Flash was doing more, if that makes sense. But I guess I'm trying to, like Timothy Dalton was doing, or even Brian Blessed's character. Let's say it felt like those two were doing more than Flash. But I guess Flash, he did enough to inspire the two, and he was kind of the little germ of an idea for them to finally overtake Ming, and that was his purpose, to be fair. So. And maybe like you could argue, hey, he's a quarterback, he's not a soldier, he's not a mercenary, so I could see that from that point of view. Like, he's not a soldier, he's not a military guy, he's a quarterback for the New York Jets. So I can see that. I can see. It just you just want to see him kick a little bit more ass, but that's just me being greedy. But he does impale Ming at the end with that big ship. Right after, Dale's like, go Flash! That always gets me each time I see it. I guess, like, he knows he's dying. I guess when he dies, then whatever's destroying Earth is done. Although, to be honest, you would think instead of... Oh shit, I got 10 more seconds. I'm going to see how long I can hang on to this. 8 more seconds. Get back. I'm going to blow your face off. 4? Oh, I got to hold on for 4 more seconds. It'd be a dip like that. I may die, but fuck your Earth too. But, but I do like, gotta stop saying, I do like the drone saying, you saved your Earth, have a nice day, and just the cheer especially, yeah, it's like a freeze frame. I love the great usage of the Queen theme again. That's always a joy to hear that song, to hear that music. I hate that they do like a sequel bait ending where it's the end and then you hear his laugh as a question mark, because we never got a sequel. I read that maybe they would have done a sequel, but the thing with Sam Jones, the whole... But it didn't make a whole lot when it came out. Like, didn't it cost like $20 million and made like $27 million? Like, it didn't make a ton of money. So I don't know if they would have... Okay, it cost $20 million. And it made $27 million in the US. Before the film's run in theaters, the sequel was considered, according to Brian Blessed on the Region 2 DVD, the sequel was going to be set on Mars. as a possible update of the very successful Universal Pictures Flash Gordon serial starring Buster Crabbe. So. Yeah, apparently a lot of the critics, they complain about the effects. It's like, yeah. But, I mean, it became a cult classic. Edgar Wright was a fan, having used the film as one of the visual influences of Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Alice Ross names the film as his favorite film of all time. Yeah, I remember there was a DVD release where he talked about the film. Taika Waititi, who did Thor Ragnarok, apparently he's a fan of the film. Of course, I mentioned Ted and Ted 2. Yeah, Life After Flash, I definitely have to watch again. I guess Robert Rodriguez, Stan Lee, and Brian May from Queen are interviewed on that. I didn't know Robert Rodriguez and Stan Lee were interviewing that. Huh. Yeah, I gotta watch that again. I should have watched it before this, but oh well. Sorry about that. I know, I am surprised, not that I want it, I am surprised they haven't done a new Flash Gordon movie. Like a reboot or remake. I'm sure, like, I was reading, apparently they were, from time to time, but the thought it never came about, I am pretty surprised. Wasn't there a TV show that came out? Why do I think there was one? I swear, there was a TV show. Yeah, 2007 on Sci-Fi Channel had 21 episodes. And yeah, 2007. Eric Johnson, Gina Holden. Nobody I don't know anybody involved. Yeah, I don't recognize a single person. Eric Johnson? He was Flash Gordon? He was Whitney Foreman on Smallville. Jack Hyde in the 50 Shades of Bullshit. Yeah. No one knows a damn thing about that. And apparently there was an animated fan film, 4 minutes long, in 2015. But yeah, even the animated form, I'm surprised they haven't done anything with Flash Gordon. You would think, Star Wars and all the other stuff they're doing, they would try other stuff like that, but I guess they're like, nah, we fucked up Star Wars enough. Oh well. But anyway, that's my thoughts on Flash Gordon. It's a fun movie. It's a fun romp. It's definitely got some roughness in terms of the special effects and some of the models of the ships and the way they're portrayed, like Zarkov's rocket when it goes up, and yeah, it's got some, cheapness to some of the effects, some of the characters. Either, I already mentioned before, but it's definitely fun for what it is. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.